Do it, go live. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, the kitties are all quiet for the moment. Good evening, good people. Hi, it's Jason here with Green Country Agroforestry. Wednesday evening, 7:30. No, 8:30 p.m. Yeah, that's right. Time for another live stream. I didn't tell what time it is. I was just changing the background there just before we got started. I realized I'd had the same background up that I'd left last week, and I wanted to change it up so it's not the same thing. Vicky is with us. Cosmic Chariot is with us. Good evening, good people. Hi. So tonight we're going to have our I guess our Seed Addicts Anonymous meeting. It's just me. It's 5 a.m. somewhere. Seed Anonymous meeting, guys. Hi, I'm Jason, and I buy seeds. I buy a lot of seeds. We just got a whole bunch. This is not what we just got. This is buckwheat. We got this a while back, but it's from the same company. I liked what I got from them before. This is 5 pounds of buckwheat. I didn't use anywhere near 5 pounds of buckwheat, but I used a lot of this buckwheat this past spring. But I used a few other things that I got, and I got little trial sample sizes of daikon radish and sugar beets from this particular company. And this is not a paid advertisement for these guys. I'm just telling you, I got the stuff from them. Okay. So this is what I'm using. I'm using seed from Deer Creek, right? They sell bulk seeds for homesteaders and ranchers and people doing feed plots or people that are trying to condition their soil in their gardens and everybody, right? I got buckwheat from them, used a lot of it. It was great. And I got daikon radish and sugar beets. Okay. I was gonna try to shine it on like this was not heavy, but actually this is very heavy. I got sugar beets and I planted all kinds of wonderful cover crops this past year, and we grew them. We allowed the roots to rot down in the ground. They've conditioned the soil a bit, and they're still conditioning the soil. I want to keep that up, but I don't have a whole lot of seed that I saved from those endeavors, mainly because it's the first time trying to grow them, and I don't know exactly what to look for when it's time to collect seed and so on and so forth. So I missed my opportunity to get seed from them whenever it was available. So I did not save seed from much of anything. So anything that self-seeded from that, I suppose, would be passed on. But it would be a good idea to go ahead and get more because we still have some work to do with soil conditioning. So we got some of the same culprits, the usual suspects, as it were, right? You guys know what I like to use. We got our sugar beets. We got our daikon radishes. Of course, you just saw the buckwheat bag that I got there, but this box here, it says here 24 pounds. 24. That's my face. 24 pounds of seeds is what we're unboxing right here in front of you tonight. 24 pounds of seeds. Hello, good people. Everybody who's just joining the stream. Hi. Yeah, I know. I kind of drew this out, but we're unboxing a box here that contains 20. Well, I ordered 21 pounds of seeds. So it says 24. I don't know why it says 24. I don't know why it says 24 and not 25, because I only ordered 21 pounds of seeds. Sarsaparilla red. Oh my gosh. Augured out 40 holes, put in 25 trees tonight. Sap's going to be rising up there where you're at not long from now, so get him in while you can. Vicky is asking if she got the book that I don't think so. I'll double check and have a look at all the packages again and make sure that there isn't one that stands out. I have this one here that had my name on it, but I knew who it was from. And I've got some over here that I think are for Mary, but I have no idea what's in them. And Mary told me not to open up her stuff because she's got brassieres or something in there. She doesn't want everybody to see her lingerie or something like that. But anyway, I will keep an eye open for it. Thank you. Books. I just got another book. What was the book we just got a little while ago? The last book I picked up was The White Pill by Michael Malice, which is kind of an interesting story. I haven't been able to get through and personally read it. Mary has been listening to the audio version of this one. I said, I kind of want to have this one on the shelves. It kind of tells the story of what it was like for folks over there in the old Soviet Union, as if you needed another reminder of what that was like. And of course, how you can take heart in the fact that, yeah, I mean, things can look pretty bleak, but human beings, being what they are going to look for freedom. And eventually the walls come down. And anyway, the white pill. Good stuff in there. But boy, it's dismal. I hear the first like 3/4 of the book. It's just dismal. It's like, wait, are you sure this is the white pill and not the black pill? Because it looks pretty bad. All right. 'Tis the season. Yes, it is. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, white pill. And yeah, there's people that live through the Great Leap Forward too. Over there, yeah, the over there, and whenever Mao made his change in China. All right, let's have a look at some of the things that are in here, and I'll talk about why they're in here. I think that's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to save this one for last. It's on the top, but we're going to save this one for last because it's something that a lot of people haven't heard of. We're going to save. No, we'll start out with a little bit first. Here, let's put this box down. We'll start out with a little bit. Speaking of a little bit, hi. You want to come over here, kitty? You want to come over here? You promise to behave yourself? No, you're going to go around on the backside and attack the green screen. I can see how this is going to work out already. All right. So here we go. This stuff here is 1 pound. 1 pound of chicory seed. That's right. Chicory is an awful lot like dandelions. And although we don't really have an issue with dandelions, I mean, they grow in the area. They go to seed in the area. If our soil really needs to grow some dandelions, they'll grow, but we don't really grow a whole lot. But I was thinking, for those rare occasions when you actually do happen to need the services of a ground cover that is a calcium pump par excellence, something to relieve soil compaction, that sort of thing, maybe getting chicory into the landscape might be good. And of course, the chicory is a good coffee substitute, right? If you like your coffee a little bit on the Cajun side, doesn't have any caffeine in it. Actually, I'm kind of trying to cut back on the caffeine, but I do still kind of like coffee a bit. I know I'm weird that way. So maybe if I grow some chicory, I have something that gives me a nice bitter black drink that I can enjoy, but just without the caffeine. I can wean myself off of yet another addictive substance. Yeehaw! No nicotine, no caffeine next. Oh, Lord, what will happen if I give up sugar? Oh, yeah, I have pretty much. I haven't completely given up sugar. I still treat myself from time to time. But no sugar, no beer. It's coming off, guys. It's coming up. So chicory. We're gonna work chicory into our cover crop mix. And these seeds, as you can see from looking, maybe you can't see. I'll hold the bag up close. Those are really tiny, little fine seeds. So the salt shaker method that I use for fine seeds are going to work great for these. We'll just put a few of these into everything, and then whenever we have the need for that niche to be filled, there's a chance we can get chicory to pop up instead of a dandelion, and that might be kind of nice. Yeah. And Vicky is saying, according to Stefan, and I actually really appreciated Stefan's video. He did a video on this specifically about dandelions being an indicator. And I watched that, and I watched it, and then I watched it again. And I watched it like, that's so cool, right? Because yeah, it's telling you what's going on in your soil, and it's trying to fix what's in your soil. And a lot of things are like that. All right, so Sasspress is asking, where did I get bulk chicory seeds from? These came from Deer Creek. You see that little logo right up at the top. Deer Creek seeds, bulk seeds for homesteaders and gardeners and, well, everybody. So lots of chicory. Of course, you can grow chicory as specifically as a vegetable that you're going to eat too. If you're growing chicory as a vegetable that you're going to eat, I've heard one of the best ways to do it is after you get your seeds germinated, put them in a box where you can give them limited access to light. And of course, make sure they get fed, make sure they get watered, but not a whole lot of light, or maybe even no light at all until they fully develop. And then at that point, you go ahead and harvest them while they're still without the chlorophyll, and then they're very, very flavorful without being bitter. There we go. That's the concept. But this is just very, very common chicory. What do they call it? Variety not stated. So it is not, it's not a varietal of chicory. It's just pretty common chicory. All right, so that's our first one up. Guys, everybody's coming in right now. We are talking tonight about the cover crop seeds that we just got. I got an order in from the same company that I ordered from before. It's called Deer Creek. It's not an advertisement for them. I'm just telling you where I got the stuff. So, yeah. Before we got buckwheat, we got some other things, and everything germinated pretty good. The only thing that I got that I didn't have a lot of success with, at least not that I could tell, was the sugar beets. And I may have had some of those germinate too, but they didn't stand out very much to me. But this is a brand new season where it's spring starting up instead of fall. And so things being different in the spring than the fall, maybe we'll see more of the sugar beets coming up early on, and we'll get to see what those look like. Anyway, so I got the buckwheat last year, and I decided, okay, I've got enough buckwheat, but I need some more sugar beet, and I need some more daikon radish, and maybe a few other things. So there's the one of the new things that we're getting, right? That chicory. Well, I'll tell you what. I was thinking about what I added up the cost of this and went, okay, I got 5 pounds of each of like 4 different cover crop things that I know are going to go to work improving the soil, right? So if I put these out, even if I don't manage to save a whole lot of seed from them over the course of about 3 or 4 years, they're going to make the changes that I need in my soil. And then whenever they're done doing that, maybe I'll plant some still after that. But for the most part, they'll be done doing the work I need them to do. And the cost per year is actually not all that much when you think about it. So for soil conditioning, for the size of garden I'm trying to work on, it's actually not too bad to buy the stuff in bulk. What do I have here? Okay, so you guys know I'm a big fan of Dutch white clover. I am such a big fan of Dutch white clover that I am looking around the base of my desk right here because there's a good chance I have a bag of it sitting at my feet. I don't at the moment. I was looking to see if I actually had a bag of it sitting at my feet. I don't actually have a bag of Dutch white clover sitting at my feet right now, but typically I buy it like 5-10 pound bags and I spread it everywhere, just everywhere, right? Because if I had a choice about a default ground cover, right, something that's going to grow if I didn't have anything else planted, clover is a great choice. It's a nitrogen fixer. It has deep roots that go down way down into the subsoil to draw minerals up. It's not huge. It doesn't overtake the landscape, so it doesn't choke anything else out. So it's humble. It's prostate. It keeps itself down low, right? We were talking about before, things that stay close to the earth. So it survives. It survives a lot of things. Grazing pressure, of course. It's early to germinate. It survives the winter really well. It doesn't handle a lot of heat. So the heat comes along and it withdraws. But by the time the heat comes along, we have plenty of other things to be ground cover. So for this early spring season, particularly when we're going to have lots of rain and stuff like that, clover is another great ground cover. We need something with roots in the ground during this time period when we have the rains coming to keep our soil from washing away. So anyway, I don't have that partial bag out here to show you because we're still using it. But I mixed in some red clover as well. So this is okay. White clover is a clover that produces little white flowers. Pretty, bees like it. Red clover produces red flowers, and this one here is a medium red clover, also inoculated. We got 5 pounds of this stuff. So we got 5 pounds, and it looks just like the white clover. It's got that little tiny little seed with clay surround on it. It's inoculated with the rhizobium bacteria that are responsible for making this a nitrogen fixing plant. So we got red clover. This is a perennial red clover, not an annual red clover, by the way. Right? You can get annual red clover. But I wanted to have perennials, so I mixed perennial red and a perennial white clover together, and whichever one happens to to want to grow in the space where I scatter those seeds, well, that's what's going to grow. So we're going to have a variety of different flowers popping up, some red, some white. Maybe they'll crossbreed. Maybe they'll make something special, new and hardy that wants to live here and doesn't live anywhere else, and that'll be great too. I don't care as long as it does the work in the landscape and it feeds the animals that it's supposed to feed and it attracts the things that it's supposed to attract. That'll be great. And I've got a kitty stalking behind my screen. I hear her. She's back there. If the screen suddenly falls, it's because we have an excitable kitty. Would you like to come here, kitty? You come here. You come over here and say hello, Betty. You come here. Come here, Betty. Here, come here. Come here. Hi. Come here, kitty. Not there. Come here. Yes, that's my cover crop seed. You want to come over here and say hello to the good people? You want to come say hello? Are you camera shy? Are you camera shy? May I pick you up? Huh? May I pick you up? Yeah? Okay. Here. Go see this. Oh. Here's your Betty. It's a Betty kitty. Hi. I don't think she's preggers. She's been through her first heat. I don't think she's pregnant. So she's going to have a date with the SPCA not too long from now, and she will not be a mama cat. But hopefully she will not be a mama cat. She's too small. She's too small to be popping out kittens. You know, she was probably the runt of the litter. Yes, and her mama came and dropped her off. But we will take care of her and make sure that she's got a nice, happy home, and she will be an excellent mouser. She's got the instincts for it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, 10, 40 holes. Many comes in, trees and shrubs come out. Yeah. Yeah, I was walking by, the spring displays. I was out shopping for a screen door for the front porch screening project. We were thinking originally about cannibalizing one from the house and just bringing it from there out to the front. A little ghetto, yeah, I know. And then upon further consideration, I decided I think I would rather just have a new screen door with the front screen or screening or the front screen porch screening project, right? New screen door up there. So I ran to the store. We got a new screen door with self-closing hinges, and we'll use that, and it will look much better than cannibalizing one from the house. Let's see. That's nice. You convert it into a seed starting humidity control, right? You need humidity control and temperature control. Bam. All right, let's see what else we got. I'm gathering dust here. You guys saw the medium red clover, right? Of course, I've already got white clover, so yeah, I have to show you that. Red and white. That way, if one of them doesn't work, the other one will. Vice versa. All right, so oilseed daikon radish. We've had a pound of them that we got this past year. I still have a few of those left, but I realized they're working really, really well. You know that monster daikon radish we had about that big around? I mean, that big around. Right about, what is that, about 4 inches across? Maybe a bit larger. It's one of these right here. So that we got 5 pounds daikon oilseed radish. Yay. Tillage radish, right? You can eat them. They're perfectly edible. They're tasty. It's really big radish. It's more radish than you need in all actuality. But you can eat the greens, and they put those in your salad. They're excellent in the salad. You don't even need lettuce when you're growing daikon radishes, right? And the radishes, well, it's still a radish. Radishes are good too. But mostly you leave them in the ground and you let them die. You just let them die. You let them rot down in the ground. And whenever they do, they feed all the microbes in the soil. They transform your soil from nasty clay stuff that you don't know if you can grow anything in. It's kind of hard to get your fork or your pick or anything into. It's hard to grow in clay, especially if that's all you got. Well, daikon radishes help transform that into something else other than clay. All right, here we go. Next one up. Of course, you guys already know about these. This is the sugar beets. All right, and these are coated sugar beets. I checked. Deer Creek sells some that are not coated, and you can get rather large quantities of uncoated sugar beets. But apparently, they had more that were coated, so they were able to sell them for a slightly lower price per pound. But we got 5 pounds of those. So we're going to be taking sugar beets and planting some sugar beets separately by themselves, just to make sure that I'm identifying my plants properly, because I think the beets and the radishes very, very early on are gonna look an awful lot alike, and it's quite possible that maybe the radishes crowded the beets out. In all actuality, that may be what happened, and I want to experiment and find out for sure. In any case, should I tell you what's in this bag? Nope, I shouldn't tell you what's in this bag. This is something I haven't shown you before, and I haven't talked to you about before. So this is a different plant entirely. All right, maybe I should tell you a little bit about this plant that I've got the seeds for on my lap. Maybe I'll just give you a brief look at the backside and put it down real quick and talk a little bit about what we're hoping to accomplish by planting all these different things in the soil, right? Belt Loop stopping by to say hello and hitting the like button. Hi, how's it going? We're talking about cover crops and improving the soil and all the crazy things I bought seeds for this year. I got a package here, 21 pounds of seeds. I already showed you the chicory. I showed you the sugar beets. I showed you the daikon radishes. Of course, the medium red clover. All of this stuff you can put into a deer plot, but it's also good for conditioning your soil. Somewhere around here behind, it's behind the screen. Mary ordered up some, I'm dropping things on the floor. Mary ordered up some fennel and dill for me. So we have some fennel seeds and some dill seeds. I'm really going to try to save seed from those whenever they go to seed this year. So I have some that's land raised for here, and I have more to distribute because those tiny little flowers, I mean, the buckwheat does good. It really does. You put buckwheat out there and buckwheat, great stuff. Just plain old buckwheat. It grows in a wide variety of temperatures. I mean, I was very surprised at how late into the season it grew, and it was supporting pollinators all the way up until they were done for the year. I mean, done. Right? So great thing to be growing in your garden any time of the year, but especially fennel and dill, because of those tiny little flowers they have. They attract your hoverflies. Hoverflies come in, they feed on the nectar from those particular flowers. Very, very tiny structured flowers. Chamomile, I think they'd feed on pretty well too. And then they go off and they mate and they look for places to lay their eggs. And the place where they lay their eggs is curious because they look for the pest insects in your garden and lay their eggs on the carapaces of those pest insects. And the eggs hatch. The larva for the hoverfly chews its way through your pest insect that you wanted to get rid of. Usually things like caterpillars, but also some of the beetles they attack too. Anyway, once they get done eating your pests, they metamorphose into more hoverflies and go out looking for flowers that are tiny that they can go and they can be the specialist pollinator for. That's why you wanted to have those tiny little flowers, because that draws that particular insect in. It's kind of cool. Anyway, we have a wide variety of different roles being served by the things that we plant for cover crops. Sometimes in the case of the daikon radish, it's tillage. It's there to aerate the soil, to put a hole down in there, right? That allows air to get in, allows water to get in. And also as that radish rots, it provides food for microbes, it provides food for worms. So it draws in organic matter into the soil without inverting your soil layers. So all of the community in your soil stays intact. Your microbiome stays intact, the fungi stay intact, and all you've added is aeration and a source of food. All right. Then, of course, sugar beets also is another way to add extra sugar to your soil. If they'll grow where you're at. I don't know if they're growing where I'm at, so we have to do a little experimentation here. But the concept is still the same. A sugar beet can get to be 4 or 5 pounds, and it has a lot of sugar in it. And one of the things that we used to do way back in the day, and apparently we still do, is spread sugar on fields, particularly molasses. And this is breaking news, guys. I don't know if you follow the Matt Powers channel or not, but Matt has made an interesting discovery. I don't know if he made the discovery or it was made and he became aware of it. But this is the source by which we're getting the information. So Matt revealed that the molasses treatment for soil that's feeding the microbes in the soil, it actually does make a difference to this molasses. And I've always told people that the bacteria don't care what kind of sugar you feed them. They're just hungry and they want sugar, right? And it's just a matter of what can you feed them that's cheap and effective. And of course, molasses was cheap and effective, so obviously we fed molasses. But if you can grow your own sugar beets, then you're pumping sugar into the soil very efficiently now because you're growing a seed. It's growing the plant. That storage root in the ground, whenever it decomposes, feeds the soil, right? It's getting all of its carbohydrates from the air, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, carbon dioxide, water, sunshine, and storing it all here. Whenever it decomposes, it's pumping all that carbon into your soil. So you're taking atmospheric carbon, putting into the living soil layers. Yeah, you're taking carbon out of the atmosphere. I understand. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've done. Some people like that, but more importantly, you're putting it into the living soil layers where it can be a repository for life, retain moisture, and help feed your plants. So we got those two. All right, molasses specifically. Apparently, the sugar cane, whenever the molasses was in the plant, the living plant, the sap, it has endophytic fungi in it that were associated with the living sugarcane plant. Now, the crazy part is apparently the simmering process to take the sugar from the cane and convert it into molasses does not destroy all the endophytes. So apparently they're available to be taken up by other plants that are capable of making use of those particular endophytic fungi. Corn in particular is one that apparently benefits greatly. So we're going to do a little experimentation with seeing if we can introduce some endophytic fungi to corn this year. So that's a little deviation and aside. Just thought you guys want to know. Check out Matt Powers. He has a lot of fun exploring some of the quirky ends of soil science, and it's worth touching bases with it from time to time. See what he's managed to dredge up or find in his microscope. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been putting something in as a sugar to activate to feed the microbes, right? To get them started, and I was just using whatever kind of sugar I could get my hands on, right? And I had assumed that the reason why all the old farmers use molasses was because molasses is cheap. You feed it to the livestock; it's cheap stuff. But of course, you feed beets to the livestock too. I wonder. Well, I don't know. I wonder if endophytic fungi survive the process of refining beet sugar. Maybe it's a different kind of endophytes. Who knows? All right, so we've got these things, the two root crops that are supposed to be aerating the soil and feeding the soil. Right? We've got buckwheat, which we mentioned previously. In addition to being a host for pollinators, it captures excess soil fertility. This is kind of important. At any given time, you can have all kinds of reactions going on in your soil that are producing nitrates. It's not just having fertilizer in your soil, but there are biochemical reactions with the organisms that are living their lives in your soil that are producing nitrates. But sometimes you can have more nitrates than your plants can uptake or make use of at any given time. Whenever you have an excess of nitrogen, you run the risk of having aphids in your garden. That's no good. You don't want that. You want to uptake as much of that excess nitrogen as you can. So you want to have a plant that's greedy for nitrogen, and buckwheat's one of those plants. Buckwheat's greedy for any kind of nutrients it can get its hand on. But oddly enough, when you interplant buckwheat with everything else, it does not seem to rob everything else in the immediate environment, as long as you don't have it planted too thickly. So if it's something that appears as one of many things that are in that space, kind of like the meadow behind me in the illustration. Well, it's not an illustration, the photograph behind me. This nice young lady that's running with a bouquet of flowers through a meadow that also has a bunch of flowers and a bunch of grasses and a bunch of other things growing in it, right? All that stuff is growing wild, and it's growing because in nature, plants grow in a community, and each one does a little different thing for the soil. All right, we covered chicory, right? Your dandelion calcium pump, and occasional, edible flower. Flowers are edible, but they're blue also. So there's that. And we don't have a whole lot of blue flowers. I thought it'd be nice to have a few bluish accents popping up. I planted some blue irises. I haven't seen those things yet either, but just a little bit different of a different color change. Vicky is saying worse than ape is the chance of nitrogen pollution of the groundwater. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's true as well. So this was not here on this channel. It was somewhere else. Oh my goodness, Sabine I can't remember. It's German lady. Has a bit of a physics background, fairly intelligent, does talks on science, but she was talking about some climate change information that had alarmed her, and pardon me, I'm licking my coffee off the side of my cup. I had mentioned something about the fundamental physics of the issue that had been ignored in the models, and run the risk of losing your credibility if you start believing in fairy tales. But someone had asked me, you get the usual knee-jerk reaction from people that have only been educated in headlines. So like, well, yeah, some of those headlines. One person had a question about whether I had heard of an idea to use iron sulfide to fertilize plankton blooms in the ocean, with the hopes of generating oxygen in the oceans with that, right? And I was like, yeah, I took a moment. I was like, yeah, I'd heard of it a while back, and my opinion is pretty much the same as it is right now. Right now, whenever we're using nitrate fertilizers and even the urea fertilizer decompose into nitrate, or I guess it is a decomposition process to turn urea into nitrate, but the runoff from that goes downstream, hits the deltas right there in the ocean, and that increase of fertilizer causes blooms in algae, causes blooms in plankton, and then after they consume all the all the CO2 that's in the immediate area, there's nothing else for them to consume. They suffocate and they die, and then whenever the decomposition process begins, they rob all of the oxygen from the surrounding water and create dead zones for miles and miles and miles. So why you'd want to do that deliberately, I don't know. But people, they labor under the impression that since this is true, there is slightly more oxygen produced in the ocean's waters than is produced above ground. Well, there's slightly more volume of water on Earth than there is mass of atmosphere. So that's not surprising. But what they don't realize most of the time is that most of that conversion process takes place in the oceans, in the aquatic systems, and the oceans are not providing the air that we breathe. And that's kind of an important distinction, because they're thinking, well, if we fertilize the oceans and we cause an increase in phytoplankton in the ocean, then that's going to do something about atmospheric CO2. It's not, because you still have to have the appropriate physical conditions for the gases to exchange between that surface barrier. And if you've opened up this can of soda pop out of the refrigerator and sipped it for a while, you may notice something about carbon dioxide pressure and temperature that you can apply inform you about what's going on there. All right. So anyway, so yeah, nitrogen pollution of the groundwater. Going back to that, but your immediate clue that you have way too much nitrogen going into your system is you get more aphids than you would expect. Of course, easy way to get rid of aphids, and I've been attempting to do this. I've managed to get one, is scattering nettles around, getting nettles to grow. Right? If you can get nettles to grow, then you've got a plant that very, very early in the spring is going to be up, green, and processing and making sugars, and it's going to attract aphids. You don't do anything about the aphids. You let the aphids come to your nettles, your stinging nettle plant. You let them come there. You let them colonize it. You let them infest it. You go, oh, darn, I guess I can't have any stinging nettle tea because it's covered with aphids. Oh, poo. But you do absolutely nothing about those aphids. You let them get on that nettle and eat it and multiply. Because the very next thing that's going to happen. Oh, Sassafras said, oh, geez, nettles will take over. I'm just trying to get a couple. I just want to have some. So I have that early spring repository that's going to attract the aphids. The next thing that happens is the ladybugs come in, they clean up the aphids, and they lay their eggs. And then you have the next wave of ladybugs coming up. Now your vegetables are starting to come up. Spring's progressing. Aphids come along and go, woohoo, we're going to eat. We're going to eat good. And then they run smack dab into an army of ladybugs they never saw coming because you planted nettles first as a trap crop. Yes, Vicky, just in chat, Vicky said it. Nettles are a trap crop. They're out there. And I spread a whole bunch of seed around, and I only managed to get one plant to come up. Darn it. So hopefully I'll be able to gather seed from that. And I don't know where the seed I got came from originally. It may have come from someplace that was not used to growing the way the seasons work here. I've discovered if I get seeds from too far northeast, they just don't really know what they're doing whenever they get down here to Oklahoma. They're clueless. They're lost. You're like, are you sure we're allowed to live here? But yeah, you get some of those Yankee seeds in the soil here, and they go, Sarge, I don't think we're supposed to be here, Sarge. Sassafras says, we have seasons. Who's this we you're talking about? You're in Illinois. Let's see. I'm in Oklahoma. Sean's in Illinois. Vicky's in Arkansas. Belt Loop is. I want to say your name is Gary. And I thought you were in Ohio, but I could be wrong. I don't keep track of Mary, and I don't know. I have no idea where Mary is right now. She's probably in Minnesota or something. I don't know. She probably told me earlier today, and I've forgotten since. Mississippi. Okay, Mississippi. That's right. My parents are in Mississippi right now. They live down there by McGee. With stepfather's 2 kids. They decided to put them up in their dotage. But he didn't get to spend time with his girls whenever they were little. So I guess he gets to spend. Okay, I'm glad I got your name right. I was like, I think his name is Gary. I think I remember saying his name was Gary. Yeah. He didn't get to spend time with his girls whenever they were little. So now he gets to spend time with them when they're adults. So there you go. Well, I couldn't remember what state it was. It's hard to tell. You mask the accent quite well. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna have a look at this last 5 more pounds of seeds right here. I was kind of putting off telling you what these are because we were going through what the roles and the purpose of everything was, right? Oh yeah, the role and purpose of everything. Alfalfa, once again, this is going to be a nitrogen fixer. It does attract certain insects, right? Um, Alfalfa has a hormone in it that whenever you use it in your compost, it causes the stimulation or acceleration of growth of other plants. So it's a growth stimulator. It's a growth hormone, if you will. You can use alfalfa to help improve the growth and vigor of other plants. Of course, clover, two different kinds for nitrogen fixers. Again, ground cover, nitrogen fixer. Let's see what else. Okay, Gary's father's a Yankee and mom's from down here. Ah, okay. All right, so last one we have here. This was one you guys are not really familiar with. No, I mean, you guys are familiar with how sometimes you'll have like maybe a pea crop, or I was talking, I think, last week about putting lentils out in the front. And I did put some lentils out, but I think I'm going to put some of this stuff out there too, because lentils is it's a pretty boring pea plant. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. It doesn't look like a pretty flower at all. They're kind of tiny little things, and they, yeah. But I've got a legume here. That's something different that you don't see very often. And you're going to have to just, whenever you have the opportunity, because I don't know if I've got a picture of this that I can share. Let me see if I can find one. I might have a picture that I can share here, but it's not, like I said, it's not very common. So there's not a whole lot of photos out there of what this plant looks like. And I misspelled it. Here we go. Ombrichus vicifolia. I do actually have a picture. Oh, wow. I can probably share this one. All right, let's do a screen share. Carolyn's Food Forest is coming in late. She came in just at the right minute to see what the secret seed is. That's right. Vicky is saying that alfalfa would be a counter to the juggalo of black walnuts. I don't know, maybe. Well, I'm not quite certain how that growth stimulant functions, and it does stimulate growth, but exactly how, what the mechanism is, I don't know. And the mechanism that juggalo uses to interrupt seed growth, I'm not exactly sure how that one works either. I'm just aware that it does on some things and not on others. That would be actually worth investigating if you wanted to do some research, right? Figure out what is the actual mechanism that makes this thing work and that thing work. That's, if you're going to go get your degree in something, that might be worth going and doing a doctorate on. Okay, so here we go. This particular plant, also a legume, and it's called Ombrichus vicifolia. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And we're going to do a share screen really quick here. So hang on a second. And, they changed this. It's that there, that up like that. Okay. And really quick here, let's go like that. No, not like that. That looks horrible. That looks horrible. How about that? That's better. I like that better. You like that better? So this is a picture off of Plants for a Future. Hang on a second here. Let me go really wide here. This is the package I got. It's called Sainfoin or Sanfoin, depending upon who is doing the pronunciation. Sanfoin is the name of the legume. Let's check this plant out, guys. This is a leguminous plant, which is either classified as Fabaceae or Leguminosa. They don't know exactly which one they want to classify it as, but it is a nitrogen fixer. USDA hardiness 5 through 9. Ranges Europe, including Britain, from France, south east to Spain, Siberia, the Caucasus, and Iran. So a very wide range that it can grow in. Have a look at the flowers here. I wish I could blow this up on the screen for you, but I don't know that I've got. Well, it's from Wikipedia Commons there, But there's a look of at the flower spike, little pink flowers on a spike, and if you look at the structure of those, very very much kind of much like a vetch in the way that foliage looks, right? But here we go. It's a perennial, grows up to 3 foot tall. Wow, that's big. Can fix nitrogen, pollinated by bees. It is not self fertile, although it is hermaphroditic. So each individual plant has both male and female organs, but each individual plant can't pollinate itself. It still requires the insects to come along, pick up the pollen from one plant and take it across to another plant to cross pollinate. So that's kind of cool. Let me see. It says here it has some flower from June through August. So late in the summer, whenever it starts getting scorchy out, we're gonna have these little spikes of pink flowers erupting off of these plants all over the place. That's pretty cool. See what else? Noted for attracting wildlife. Great. Can't grow in the shade. So this is going to be one of those things that pops up in the sunny areas where we have maybe partially meadow or a little pocket meadow, dappled shade. The woodland doesn't cover everything. So there we go. What else do we want to know about this thing? Habitat, typically meadow, right? Not necessarily an edible plant, but it is one that livestock like cattle would be interested in eating, like goats too. I imagine deer. It says here that we should pre-soak our seeds for 12 hours in warm water. Well, we're not going to do that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast and we're going to sprinkle some wood chips over the top of that. Let me go ahead and stop the screen. There we go. We're gonna broadcast and then we'll come back with some wood chip fines over the top of that to cover everything up after we've pressed all the seeds down to make sure they're making good soil contact, and that should take care of it. Vicky is asking how the garage clean out has been going. The garage clean out has been completed. I am in the process of packing all the stuff back into the garage that is not trash and preparing to fill up the carport area with all the stuff that is trash that we still have to get rid of, either out of the back room of the house next door or out of the back room of the house over here, because we have a lot of stuff that just kind of got pushed to the back room as winter went on, and it's now time to get out of here because I've got to get to the shelves back there in order to start plants, because it's about the only place I have to start plants right now is on those shelves back there. So if I don't get them cleaned off, I'm not going to get anything started, and I want to get some things started. I'm kind of excited about getting things started this year. I've got ivy gourd this year that I'm going to grow. Those are an interesting little vining gourd plant. Night blooming, of course, white flowers, kind of like the birdhouse gourd that we currently have sale at greencountryagroforestry.com, along with the corn that we have for sale at greencountryagroforestry.com. We have plenty of corn for sale at greencountryagroforestry.com. All right. But this particular gourd will produce a reddish or pinkish colored fruit that's going to be about yay big or so, approximately. That's how big they're supposed to be. But they're sweets as opposed to being like a vegetable. It is really like a fruit. So we're going to try those things out and see how they are. Hopefully they're good. I have no idea if they're going to be good or not. It's just another vining plant that produces food, and I'm eager to try it out and see how it is. So we'll see. But the garage clean out is done, and we're moving on with other projects. So yay. The porch screening is probably not going to be completed in time to be of much use for this spring, but by next spring I hope to be using the screened in area. We'll have plastic tacked up on the inside, so it's a screened in porch during the summer, right? So we can just kick back there and not have to worry about bugs as much, right? But during the winter, I can tack up plastic on it, and since it has excellent exposure to the early morning sun, especially when the sun's low and off over there to the south, it'll be great for getting plants started and stuff like that, and especially getting things like my Morris rubra, the red mulberry tree, started from cuttings. we have a very, very delicious red mulberry in the backyard that I can't wait to share with you guys. And I've managed to get a couple to start from cuttings, so we're going to spread some around here, and we'll have more of those. But it's probably going to be about another year before I can start pushing them out through the website. So right now it's black locust and redbud, and I've got a whole bunch of pecans planted. So we'll have pecans next year. I only have maybe one or two that I could sell this year, so I'm not going to bother to sell them. But we'll have some really, really good red mulberry coming up. Oh, I'm gonna take my my little supplement. This is Eucommia ulamoides bark extract supplement in caplets that Mary got for me because I've been drinking too much coffee. Now there's a really nice little premixed coffee package that had that extract in them. Yeah. So we're just taking the extract separate from the coffee. Oh, well, I am drinking coffee. It's just not that coffee. It's just regular coffee with caffeine that I'm supposed to be getting off of, but I'm not. Gonna make me give up all my vices, aren't you? I don't drink anymore. Don't smoke anymore. Give my caffeine. Actually, I did have a little peppermint schnapps in a cup of coffee earlier today. It wasn't enough to get buzz off. It just made my coffee taste like peppermint cream. It was pretty nice. Anywho, all right, so that's it. San Boeing is the our new secret seed coming up this year. So it's this another leguminous plant, right? It's supposed to grow on soils with a high pH, right? Chalky soils, limestone. Our soil pH here is like 7.8, sometimes 7. No, really about 7.8 is as high as I've seen it go, but verging on 8 at sometimes. And of course, I use a wood stove, and I have to dispose of the ashes. There are places where the pH is going to be higher than 7.5. So high pH needs something. I think maybe if I put my my surplus wood ashes out in an area that's more meadow-like, Sainfoin might just be the thing I want to plant there. So I have nice, pretty pink flowers in the late summer to feed our pollinators, and a way to process that excess fireplace or wood stove ash is where ours is from, and not have to worry about the pH being upsetting to the balance in any other way. Roasted barley and chicory. I know I noticed the operative words there, for a while. Yeah, not successfully giving up. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Well, I don't know if it's good stuff. It's just got hooked on drinking it. I was a hyper kid. Grandma gave me coffee. Yeah, maybe not. Well, the more I looked at it, there's a thing that coffee does, right? It tampers with your serotonin, and it interrupts it. It's like, so it stops the normal processing of serotonin, like a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And as a result, it causes you to like not get the signal that says go to sleep, I guess. But it doesn't really keep you awake. Maybe the aromatic oils that are released really early on in the brewing process, the stuff, right? That part that escapes in the aroma whenever you're first brewing, that part actually does seem to be somewhat stimulating. But the rest of it, it just kind of stops you from feeling sleepy. You're still tired, but you're not, you know what I mean? but it's a mild effect. It's not like Chantix, right? Like I tried Chantix once when I was trying to quit smoking before I discovered that the vaporizer is probably the best way to do it. Um, although I hear good things about using those flavored toothpicks that probably work too. You have to have something that involves your hands and your mouth, right? Because this is a habit. Putting something in your mouth is a habit, and using the vaporizer was, you that sensation of breathing something in and breathing something out. You felt like you were breathing something in and breathing something out. You got the nicotine from it, and then it was just a matter of stepping down the nicotine until it was no longer hooked on nicotine, and then getting rid of the habit of vaporizing, and done, right? Um, yep, yep. But nicotine's a bit hard, a bit hard to get used to or get rid of, because I've been hooked on it my entire life, right? My entire life. Now, if Grandma had instead given me passion fruit juice and said, "Here, kid, have some passion fruit juice," and I go, "Yay, juice!" And then a little while later, that would have been different. So Grandma could have dosed me on passion fruit because that is a mild sedative. All right, so here's okay. So the thing about blocking serotonin, um, it's not quite as intense as taking Chantix, right? I took the Chantix for a while, so okay, I need to quit nicotine. But that medication, it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, you don't feel like smoking, but you don't feel like anything else either. It takes like the joy of life and turns it down to gray. You feel like you're walking. You feel like a zombie. You feel like a Walking Dead person. It's just blah. It's horrible. It's a horrible sensation. I couldn't stand it. Shortly after starting, I was like, oh nope, nope. I took the entire what was left of the entire prescription and got rid of it, threw it away, and said, okay, this is not going to work because no, I'm not going to feel like that. It's just not good. But that sensation that you get whenever your body is trying to come back down off of having been dosed with an SSRI is almost exactly like that sensation that you get whenever you've got a serious caffeine Jones and you can't get a cup. Kind of like borderline, you might snap and go off on somebody, but but worse. It's worse than caffeine angry. It's worse than caffeine angry, and so I can kind of understand why people go nuts if they're on that. I'm not telling you psychiatrists how to do your jobs, but maybe that might not be the best thing to prescribe to your patients. Just saying. Just saying. Anywho, on the bright side, I no longer smoke. Yay! Oh, and I can smell. I can smell things with my nose again. It's great. But one of these days, maybe I'll kick the caffeine. I've been trying to remind myself when I first wake up in the morning to get just a really good glass of water, maybe 20 ounces, quart, is maybe not a whole quart, but as much water as I can get down. As he finishes the cup, as I enjoy the caffeine. Look, that's it. That's it. 1 cup of coffee, 1 hour. There we go. I will probably have another one before it's all over. But yeah, one vice at a time, guys. I think I'm doing pretty good so far. Never got hooked on opiates, thank goodness. Yeehaw. All right, where are we at? Almost an hour. What do you guys think? Did I pick good? Did I get some good cover crops? We got the usual suspects going in, right? We got Fennel and Dill going in. I know I didn't show them to you, but we're gonna get them. I'm gonna throw some more Amaranth in. we now have Sanfoin to go into some of the sunny spots to fill in. I got some lentils out there. I don't know if they're going to come or not. They're really old. I planted those for Can I Plant That episode a couple of years ago, and never used the footage, never used the stuff. Oh, Sasper says I hate pain bills. Prefer to be regular. Oh yeah. Whatever I had my appendectomy, they told me that they would let me out of the hospital as soon as I switched over to taking my pain management orally, and I said, "Hand me the freaking pills. I'm out of here." and I got out of the hospital like before I had my shoes on. but yeah, they stop you up. They stop you up, and it's easy to get hooked on them. But I'll tell you what, the pain meds they had me on at the hospital, easy to get hooked on. Really easy to get hooked on. Because you know how it is, right? You know, the opiate says, "Hi, the pain's still here, but now it's off over here to the side where you don't have to worry about it." And I think the problem that a lot of people have when they get addicted to it is that it doesn't do that just for severe pain. It does it for everything, right? To the point where I notice as the opiates were leaving my system that the everyday pain, right? And this was when I was in my 30s, so I didn't have quite as much everyday pain, but I was beginning to notice, right? The knees were not quite as good as they used to be. Here and there, things hurt from time to time, but the everyday pain that whenever you're on the opiate for the brief time that I was on it, it was like 48 hours, maybe 72. They were still in my system. But while I was still on opiates, like I didn't notice. But whenever it started to come back, I was like, oh yeah, you know, I've got a little arthritis here and there. I've got a trick knee. I've got soreness in my foot, right? All of that stuff comes back. And whenever you first experience it, especially if you I suppose if you had become unaccustomed, right, to the everyday aches and pains, the everyday aches and pains are painful. And they actually hurt. But you're used to them all the time, right? You're used to that everyday level of pain. But whenever it's all removed and it starts coming back, you go, wow, I actually experience quite a bit of pain on a regular basis. But it's you're used to it. You're used to it. But having your normal pain come back to you, it is painful. And I can see why people would keep on reaching for another fix to get away from it, so they don't have to feel it. And then they're just avoiding all pain. And yeah, that's a nightmare situation. You don't want to be in that. But yeah, I think being addicted to seeds is a bit safer than being addicted to opiates. Although, if I can figure out where I put my poppy seeds, I will be planting more poppies because those things were gorgeous, and they feed the pollinators, and they are Papaver somniferum. And if the world as we know it came to a screeching halt, and we absolutely had to produce pain meds, we'd want to have some seeds here, not halfway across the world, where we could grow them and be able to use them for their intended medicinal purposes. But yeah, pain is the way you know you're alive. You're supposed to have some. You're supposed to have some. If you don't have it, then well, also if you don't have pain, then you don't know to take corrective measures when things are wrong. So pain's a good thing, right? You could probably do that metaphorically for all different kinds of pain, including societal pain, right? Crazy world we live in. Have you watched the news? Maybe the societal pain is telling us that there's something wrong, and it requires a bit of addressing. Anyways, yeah, don't get caught harvesting the sap, people. Do not, under any circumstances, while the plant is growing and while it is in that stage where it is forming the seeds in an enclosed seed pod, do not go up to the seed pod with your knife or a razor blade and cut slits in it and allow the sap to come up through those slits and collect that sap for any purpose, because that would be illegal. Okay, so something you should probably know about poppy leaves. The active ingredient is in the leaf. It's in the or sorry, not the leaves, in the flower. Sorry, active ingredient is in the flower, but there are other chemical compounds in the flower as well. Yes, as it turns out, if you happen to make a tea out of poppy flowers and use it for the relief of pain, it will function. But if you attempt to abuse the tea, you will get a horrible headache. So it has the hand abuse actually built into it if you use it as a tea. So I don't know, but I think here in the U.S. and Gary, you could probably back me up here if I'm mistaken, let me know. I think in the U.S. if you were to make a tea out of it, that's illegal too. You're not allowed to. You can grow the plant. That's fine. Enjoy the flowers. You can even put the little seeds on your muffins. That's fine. You're gonna test positive for opiates if you eat poppy seed muffins, but it's the same seeds. But if you grow it and you harvest the sap or you make a tea out of the leaves, I think making a tea out of the leaves is not permitted either by law. But just saying, keep them around. You never know. We might need them someday. We could get cut off from the rest of the world where they grow and produce the stuff, and might need it someday. Just saying. Things happen. We're in a cosmic. It's just because the test doesn't. It looks for metabolites, and I think is the way it works. It's looking for the metabolites of whatever it was that was in the system. But yep, we live in a cosmic shooting gallery. Things happen, and this global trade network that brings us wonderful things, including some of the medications that we have come to rely upon here in the West, may not always bring the things to us in a timely fashion or at all. So there we go. I don't know. I have no experience with raw opium, ma'am. I think should we ever get to that situation where we are really relying upon what I'm growing in my backyard for medicinal supplies, we're just going to stick to brewing a tea and not holding any in a form that people would be tempted to abuse. Would probably be the safest way to manage it. Yep. But the world will have to change a lot before that ever happens. In the meantime, pain management is best done with anti-inflammatories in most cases. I mean, I'm serious, guys. Most of the time, whenever you have pain, especially chronic pain, removing inflammation does wonders for taking care of that pain, and at least brings that down to manageable levels. Try to avoid the heroic stuff if you can at all help it, because it's no fun to get hung up on, right? Was there anything else we need to talk about? I covered everything, right? All the stuff for cover cropping? Yeah. All the seeds that we got? Any questions? Nettles, turmeric, cayenne, safe and legal. Yeah, if you're using turmeric, use black pepper along with it. Well, you can use long pepper too, as long as it has piperine. Piperine is the thing that makes the turmeric do its business. And cayenne is good too. I wonder if nettles are good internally, or if it's just whenever you brush your skin with them. My coffee cup is empty. Why do I keep on trying to drink it? Guys, that's all I've got for you tonight. I hope you found tonight's video informative, entertaining, maybe a little bit of both. If you did, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. Until then, get out there, and get growing cover crops. And stay tuned. We're going to find out what this stuff looks like and if it'll grow here in Oklahoma. Yeah. And we'll see what kind of butterflies or other pollinators it attracts. It's going to be fun. Yeah. Nettles are very high in nutrients. Yes, piperine is in black pepper. Vicky is saying she thought piperine is in black pepper. It's in black pepper. It's in long pepper, which is just a different form of black pepper. It's makes long peppercorns. Anyway, it is, as far as I know, not in Szechuan pepper. So that's kind of the downside of using Szechuan as a substitute for black pepper. The recipe I use for Szechuan pepper is a couple of peppercorns of Szechuan. It's prickly ash, right? You can use North American prickly ash too. It's great. Do I want some live nettle plants? Oh, I'd love some live nettle plants. Barry's like, no, don't send them. Take a couple of your of prickly ash seeds, and this could be Szechuan pepper, it could be Sancho pepper, it could be Hercules Club ash from back in Virginia, or whatever you've got that's going to make your prickly ash seeds. Put them in your mortar and pestle, grind them up, put a few, not quite as many, but almost as many mustard seeds in, regular culinary mustard. Grind that up with it together, and then just a tiny little bit, tiny bit of cayenne pepper or other really hot pepper. Probably don't want to use jalapeno because it has a particular flavor of its own. Pekin, maybe not either, but cayenne works pretty well. A little bit of cayenne pepper for the heat. So you've got an umami flavor from the mustard, right? A nice earthiness, cayenne for heat, and then the prickly ash gives you kind of that pepper aromatic flavor. And you combine them all together, and you have a seasoning that tastes almost exactly like black pepper. Almost exactly like black pepper, except it doesn't have piperine in it. But anyway, there you go. Vicky, I'll let you know on the watercress. I looked I've got it going in a couple of places. I've got a lot of stuff going in the little kiddie pools on the south side of the house, and I'm not sure where it is in there. I know I have some going in there, but I don't know exactly where. And then up on the front, well, it's the bird bath didn't survive, but up on the north side, we got some, and I can see the peppermint that we put in there is taking off and growing, and I know the watercress is next to it. So hopefully the watercress will begin emerging soon. But the peppermint is definitely still alive there. So hopefully the watercress is too. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. I will catch you next time. Hi, Kitty. You want to say goodnight to everybody? Bilbo wants to say goodnight to everybody. Okay, here you go. All right. Say goodnight, Derpy Cat. You want to say goodnight? There you go. Look, people. Look, right there, people. People right up here. No? What are you looking at me for? Oh, he's not going to look at you guys. He's not going to look at you. Aw. Good night, everybody.